Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jennifer Passavant. I'm a holistic healer, and I'm here with my good friend Bonnie Bird.
I'm a holistic healer also, and we're just excited to be here tonight.
Yeah, we were going to start out with a quick prayer just to kind of protect the space, and then we were going to get into the conversation about all the amazing stuff that's going on in terms of the astrology and astronomy and the numerology and all that kind of stuff. Bonnie, do you want to go ahead and do the prayer?
No, you go ahead. I love the way you do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we call in all of our highest divine aspects, our spiritual entourage, Father, Mother, God, Jesus Christ, Yeshua, Archangel Michael, and the power and the order of Melchizedek. And we ask and intend that this live and all of those who are participating in it now and in the future be infused with the highest level of holy, healing, and protective divine white light, so that only those beings and those energies of the highest love and the highest light that are for everyone's highest and best good can come through, and that all of those energies that are not of the highest love and not of the highest light, that do not have our best interest at heart, can go to the white light of source for transmutation with love, peace, and forgiveness. And we say this, oof, in the name of the divine. Ooh, wow. Oh, gosh. As thy will, so mote it be, it is done.
It is done. Wow, that was amazing.
All of
Thank
a sudden, this
you.
energy started rushing through me, and I'm like, I can't even talk right now.
That's
Woo! All
amazing.
right. It is cleansed.
Yeah, that's light language right there, girl.
Mm. Okay, so we all know that we're here for the 8-8 Lions Gate and whatnot, but what is that? Like, what is that? And so, just to give people kind of a better understanding, that yes, it has to do with August 8th, August being an 8th month and it being an 8th day. But there's more to it than that, because it's a time period within what's called the Sirius Rising. So the Sirius portal is when the star Sirius, which is our spiritual sun, so it's sort of like the higher aspect of our physical sun, is aligned with our physical sun as well as Orion's belt. So it's like our sun, Orion's belt, and Sirius. So it creates this line, and you can kind of feel all of the energies coming from Sirius through Orion's belt to us, and it's pretty amazing. And this is before the heliacal rising of Sirius, which means it's before Sirius is seen above the horizon. So in Egypt, when Sirius is above the horizon, that's when usually the back in the day, the Nile would flood, and you could either get, lots of abundance of food and crop growth, or you get overflooding and there's starvation. And so it was kind of a time of appealing to the powers that be, so to speak, in order to have an abundant period. And of course, in the Celtic tradition, we just had Lammas, which is the first harvest, and it's the beginning of fall on August 1st. So there's a lot of abundance and manifestation energy around it. And then you add to that the 8 and the infinity symbol that it makes. There's a lot of that, like, enhances it. So the 8-8 is not astronomically or astrologically an apex or a peak. It's really a portal based strictly on the sacred geometry and the numerology of the day. So, Bonnie, do you want to add anything to that?
Well, it's also, like last Lionsgate was all about water, and just so you know that this time it's all about fire. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, last year it was like bringing in the flow, and this year it's about burning away all the, working the shadow. And um and it's also acceptance, to accept what things are and be okay with it, because as long as acceptance is the same thing as when you're um, giving forgiveness. You don't have to agree on what it is that they're talking about, or agree on whatever happened, but when you accept it, you feel peace from that. You create peace around whatever the situation is. And so it's all about moving into acceptance of yourself and acceptance of other people, and being able to live in cohesive, because we're living with on two timelines right now, and we've got the awakened and the ones that are in between, and the, you know, it's the awakened and the ones over here who aren't, and they're in between, they're starting to awake. So we have to be able to accept what it is that's going around us, and still raise our energy and not be upset about what others are doing or saying, because it really has nothing to do with who we are and what we are and what we're trying to do here, because what we're trying to do is raise our vibration. Our purpose is to raise our vibration. That's what we're here for, and that's
That
what
was
I had.
very well said. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, my hair is sticking to the back of my arms because I just put lotion on it and it's disgusting. So sorry.
Never do that.
um, I'm not an astrologer, but I was reminded before we went live that we also just had the nodes, the how should I say, the nodes switch place. So the nodes are the lunar axis. So it's just a point in space that is has to do with the moon, and there's like the south node is something that you're letting go of, and the north node is something that you're moving towards, but they're moving, it's like moving out of Leo. The North Node's moving out of Leo and moving into Aquarius, and that just happened. And so Leo is, of course, about the self and self recognition, and moving into Aquarius is about the group and letting go of self recognition. But what I was reminded, I was watching a couple of people discuss this, and I thought it was a good reminder that that doesn't mean that everyone's going to have to let go of any hope for um, recognition or acknowledgement or congratulations or anything like that. It's a matter of, if, especially if you've got like a sun sign or a rising sign in Leo, and you've already experienced a lot of recognition, but you are inauthentic, meaning a lot of people recognize you, but you're kind of a false prophet, or you are performative and you're not really who you're portraying yourself to be. You could have a fall from grace because you're not, that doesn't serve the people, which is Aquarius. But if you are someone who you've been doing your inner work and you are authentic and you're showing up, you may find yourself in a situation where you are all of a sudden thrust into a greater degree of recognition, even if it's just at work, people going, hey, I see where you're doing, good job, or more public recognition. Because what you're doing serves the people because of the work you've done and the level of authenticity that you're showing up in. So we're looking at, and then I was reminded of Jupiter being in Leo, and so it's like, okay, what, something's going to expand there, but then Pluto is opposite it, which is endings and changes. So it's like, okay, what are you going to let go of in order to allow that to happen? So is it going to be a limiting belief? Is it going to be a wound that you've been holding on to? Is it going to be a job that no longer serves you? Is it going to be a relationship that's holding you back? So what are you going to let go of in order to allow for this expansion and these changes to take place? And I was like, it was like, okay, I have to remember all of this before I do, but by the time I go live, but it's a lot. And then you've got the eclipse on the 12th in Leo, but it's a new moon, right? So it's not about the letting go, it's about the the manifesting and the creation. So, and usually with solar eclipses, the idea isn't to try to focus on, I want this thing, because eclipses are like a grab bag and you want to be open to whatever gifts and surprises that they have available to you. You don't want to try to control what the eclipse is going to bring, but you do want to set a positive mindset and a positive emotional state, so that whatever the eclipse is bringing you, you will be aligned with the positive and ascended version of that. Did I make sense when I said that?
Yeah, it's also too. It's not about manifest. That you said it perfectly, but it's
Good,
not
thank you.
about manifestation. It. I mean, it is about manifestation, but it's also about where you're manifesting from,
There you go.
not through the mind, but through the heart. Manifesting what your heart needs and what your true purpose is and what you're doing here. And so just going like um, I I want a car or what. I mean, it's not that you can't manifest a car. That's not going to during the eclipse. What's going to happen is you want to manifest when you think of something that's going to help yourself and others. That's when it comes in even stronger. So manifest something that is going to help the community, is going to lift everyone up, going to lift you up. And you know, and if you want a new car, just manifest that everybody gets what they need. You know,
Yeah.
everybody is abundance. You know, but it's not about I or what I need. It's about what we need as a community. And so, and it's also about too, you know, when we go back through right now, light workers are kind of going back. They're like circling around back to what they had already been through, and it's because it's a deeper layer, it's a deeper understanding, and you have more tools and more knowledge. And when you do that, you raise the vibration quicker, and that helps everybody else that's having the same problem. So don't be hard on yourself just because you're circling around, because we are, all of us are in the right place at the right time. There's nothing that we're supposed to be doing except for being us, living our life, being joyful, being compassionate, helping others. But it's not about being the most popular person online or being the most popular person. Um, it's more popular, not about being a popular person anywhere. It's more about doing what makes your heart happy, and you know that will help others in the end, being compassionate in action. And so I feel like we are going into a new age of acceptance of others, because you have to accept others. There's two distinct timelines, and they aren't gonna, the ones that aren't awake, they don't understand what it is you're doing. You just have to keep walking that path, so that eventually they'll start inching over this way, and then finally say, what's going on over here? I want to walk with you. You
Yeah.
know.
Or
And
or not, because there's also that devolution timeline that is going to bifurcate away from us. So it's allowing those people you were talking about radical acceptance of self and others. And if someone chooses not to follow the timeline that you're on, being accepting of that. And that's hard,
acceptance
but
again.
being accepting of
and
that.
and
Yeah.
you know, it's like, that's, it used to be all about, well, it still is about forgiveness, but
Hmm.
the big thing is now is acceptance. Accept things, it is what it is, it is the way it is, and it's okay. Nobody has to think the way you think, nobody has to do the things that you do. You don't have to agree with other people's opinions on things. It's okay. We create our own world, and we create our own joy and our own happiness, and who are we to say what another person's happiness is?
Yeah.
It's letting go of control.
Hmm.
That's the whole thing, is letting go of control.
I'm going to tack on to what you just said because you said something that was so perfect. Um, about, it's okay to let other people be who they want to be, and you just kind of focus on being you. And I think, that truly is that unity consciousness of, um, my job is to be okay with me regardless of what other people are thinking, believing, and doing, and whatever. So if people are doing other things, believing different things, being a part of a different political party or a different spiritual beliefs, or whatever, um, letting them do them. Your job, your homework is just focusing on being the most authentic, humble, in service to others, um, person you can be, including loving others so much that you let them be themselves, no matter how different that is from you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also letting go, because you can't control somebody else's path. You have to let them, you know, fall if they need to fall. They'll
Mhm.
stand when they need to stand, but you can't be, if they ask you for help, that's okay, but you can't hold their hand anymore. They have to find their way. You can't control, like, even if it's your husbands or your kids, you have to just send love. You have to send love. You can't, like, I can't, I don't like using the negatives, but it's just hard, because when it's your family members, to let go, you just have to allow the flow, allow yourself to let them flow with their life as you're flowing with yours.
Hmm.
Because when you're trying to control things, that's when everything goes sideways.
Yeah.
That's when, it's like a boomerang. It comes back around, hits you in the back of the head.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do that. You want to just, observe. That's the hard part. It's observe, take yourself out of the situation, take
Hmm.
yourself out of the emotions of it, and allow them to be who they are. And I mean, it's okay to give advice here and there because when you're a parent, you can't help it. But they'll either take it or leave it, and there's nothing you can do about that, and it's okay.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And I, the desire to control, it might feel like it's out of love, but it's really out of fear being masked as love,
Hmm.
because it's a fear of either what's going to happen to them if they don't follow my advice or do what I'm telling them to do or be more like me or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and it's also, I think, for those that are thinking in terms of the timeline, what if they're not in my, because it's not like they're gonna the way timelines work isn't that it's like they just disappear from your sight. It's more like the universe will arrange it for them to no longer be a part of your life. So that can be, parents and children parting ways, husbands and wives parting ways, whatever it is. But that can be really challenging, and a lot of people don't want to have to let go of people they care about, and so there's this fear of also potentially having to let them go. But when you can recognize that you're operating out of fear, that the control is coming from more fear under the guise of love, and it's also coming from a little bit of attachment for some people depending on the nature of the relationship, it it makes it, how shall I say this, it makes it easier to say, I know that the lie that I'm operating from is the fear that something bad will happen if they go down that path and they might not be with me. But the truth is that they have to for their highest and best good, even if it looks awful, it's still a part of their path. It's still um, contrast that they have agreed to participate in experiencing, even if it's not what I want for them. And that's really hard, but it's easier when you can catch yourself and see that you're operating out of that fear and allow yourself to kind of talk yourself out of operating from it. It doesn't mean the fear will go away, but you can make it so that you're no longer operating from the fear and you're no longer trying to control them, even if you're still feeling terrified inside.
Yeah. So like you just ask the questions: is it real? Is it really happening? Is it something that you just thought up? Is it truth? Um, do you even know if something happens into the future? How you're not going to know until you let them live it. And
Hmm.
so when you tell yourself, is it something that I just told myself? Then that's when you're like, oh, well, I need to let go of that because I don't know that that's true. That's a worry that I just tried to make real,
Yeah.
and that's not necessarily what's going to happen. Um, so you really have to be careful in your thoughts and even in your words, in the way that you treat others and the way that you show up for other people, because um, we forget that we're powerful creator gods within our hearts. That's what our higher self is. And so we can easily, in these higher energies, create, when we're creating out of fear, we can easily, just as easily, create something out of fear as we can out of love. So paying
Hmm.
attention to your thoughts and really being careful about that,
Yeah.
especially in these higher energies right now.
Oh yeah, especially during this portal with Sirius and the Sun and Orion and the eclipse and the blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. It's a lot, and like you were saying, you really have to be careful, not just now, but I don't even want to say be careful. Self mastery means you are mindful of whether or not you're operating from your wounded self, which is where all of your fears and worries and wounds and pains come from, um, and like making sure that you're kind of keeping that in check and of being really self-aware of when you're operating from that aspect of you, and instead choosing to then move into operating from your more healed self, so that when you're in these energies right now in particular, you are attracting to you whatever surprise experiences the eclipse has in store for us right now, the higher version of whatever is coming for you, because you're showing the universe, I've done my inner work, I'm ready for it.
Hmm. Absolutely. And just listening to your own heart for sure, listening to your higher self, let your heart guide you. If you're the person that someone's trying to control or tell you what to do, then even today, people who are listening to us today, you just take whatever resonates with your heart. And if it doesn't resonate with your heart, then just throw it out. That's
Hmm.
not truth to you, and that's
Yeah.
okay. You just have to be understanding and compassionate and kind to other people in the way they feel, because people's feelings, they feel the way they feel, and it's not wrong. It's okay to feel the way you feel, and just allow others to be in a place where they can see their own way out without being controlling and telling them how to get out,
Yeah.
unless they ask you.
Well, yeah, and that's letting them allow their follow, that's letting them follow their own inner guidance. Even if at first following their own inner guidance, well, usually they're not following their inner guidance if they end up in something negative. But it's like they need that contrast in order to learn to follow their own inner guidance. So if you're there telling them, do this, do this, do this, because otherwise these things are going to happen, that's out of your own fear that you're saying that, and they're not necessary, especially if they're not asking for your help. If they're not asking for your help, there's only so much you can do, and it's best to, instead of trying to make them do what you think they should do, done out of control, that is not done out of mm, it's not done out of love, that is done out of control. But when you can say, you might consider doing da 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 da, that's giving a suggestion, and then what they do with it is up to them.
Right. Right.
um but yeah, you have to let them, sometimes you have to let people fall and learn to pick themselves back up so that they can learn to listen to their own inner guidance instead of getting all their stuff from all the, you or the other people in their lives, because your guidance is, there may be some value in it, but the age of someone else being your guru is gone. And the
Yeah,
age of
that's
learning to
definitely
be your
over.
own guru is here.
Yes. Well, becoming whole, that's what ascension is becoming whole and raising your vibration to where you are one with your higher self, to where you can, where all your knowledge and wisdom comes in through your heart space. I
Hmm.
mean, your mind is your support. Your mind's your support. Your heart is your way. And so you have to, in my opinion, I mean, I don't know, um, how I that's how I feel about it, because if your mind's going to show you different ways how to handle things, how to get around things, how to do things, and your heart is going to tell you the truth, and it's going to say, go left, don't go right, because there's something that you're not going to want to be involved in. And if you listen to your heart and then allow your mind to be your support system, then
Hmm.
you'll be okay.
Yeah. You could
It can
even
walk
say, like,
together.
your mind's going, I could go left or I could go right. Which way should I go? And then your heart, you feel into your heart, and your heart goes, go left. And then your body, right, the lower portion, right, your mind, heart, and then you've got your active aspect, your root chakra is, then you take the action of going left. You follow that inner guidance. You've got those three parts that working
Right.
together.
And but your lower, sometimes that's where the fear comes from, and you don't listen to your heart, and you go listen to
You
the
go
fear
right.
from your mind, and you go right. And then but you eventually come around to doing what your heart's trying to show you, because your heart's never going to give up on you. It's always going to help guide you, help show you the way. And sometimes when you get, sometimes you get an illness, or sometimes you're exhausted, you're so tired, you just can't, you feel like, why is this happening to me? Why am I so tired? Why am I so exhausted? Or why did I get sick? Or whatever it is. When you are in that state where you're tired, you're letting go of control, because you're too tired to control it, and now you're allowing things to flow. You're getting out of your own way. So
Yeah.
sometimes that happens, and it's not fun. But sometimes we're so thick-headed that we don't want to listen to our heart, and we end up in that tired space, or um, in that space where we have to sit and think because we don't feel like going anywhere or doing anything. you know.
Mm-hmm. Then you get analysis paralysis. You
Uh,
get, but the three levels of manifestation are thought, feeling, and action, right? So
mhm.
you've got the idea, you've got the thought, and then have, like you were saying about the heart and using your heart to determine which of the ideas to run with, and then you run with it. Those are the three phases of manifestation. And so this the upper, middle, and lower dantian. That's what I was referring to, the lower part. Sorry.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
I said root chakra, which is also kind of true, but because that's kind of also where you create from. But anyway, but yeah. So with all this going on with regard to the eclipse and all that good stuff, I guess the meat and taters of all of this is we're kind of really being asked to look at, if you look at when there were eclipses in Leo before, what were you going through then? Did you do your inner work on that? If not, hey Joe, I see you. That's you on a Monday morning. Hi.
Hi everyone. I see
I just saw you. How
Betsy
you doing?
and
Um,
Dana and it looks like Raul and
you're well, yeah.
yeah, Raul. Yeah. Hi everybody.
Um,
Oh yeah, that also was Linda was on here. Hi
oh
Linda.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, it's like the meat and taters is from that last eclipse. Have you done your inner work on that thing? If not, you might get something about it coming up for you again that is maybe not about that thing that may not look exactly the same, but it may trigger the same emotions. And if you have done your inner work, then it's like, okay, here's something new. We're going to give you something new, and it's like now you can move on to your next phase of evolution. So, um, but that's really, I think, a good way to describe what we're going through right now, and looking at what what are you ready to let go of in terms of what have you done your work on, so you can kind of like, all right, done and dusted. um, but if you haven't done your work, then it's an opportunity to be like, okay, I need to work on now, then letting go of this wound, this fear, this thing that does not serve me, um, all of that good stuff. So,
Right. When you have one that you keep circling around to and you keep
mm,
going through it over and over again, that is acceptance. You haven't accepted the healing and the release of it. When you accept it is when it releases. You have to accept that it's over, it's done, and you're going to move on and you're going to move forward. But when you're not doing that, is why you keep circling back around because there's another layer that you haven't looked at or focused on.
mhm.
And
Yeah. And
so,
you either haven't accepted it or you haven't allowed yourself to see it in the first place.
mhm, yeah, yeah. And you're like,
And then,
oh, wow.
yes, and then allow to figure out what lie you're operating from. Okay, what's the truth? Okay, I've got to practice not operating from that wounded aspect, and then, and it does take, but it's really about allowing yourself to be so painfully honest with yourself that you can see what it is that's coming back around for you, and what it is inside, because it's never about stuff that's going on the outside. The outside is what is shining a mirror on what is going on with you on the inside that you need to look at. And so it's not, well, if Bob hadn't called me stupid at work, it's more like, but why did you get pissed off that God called you, that Bob called you stupid? Why did you take that personally? That's the thing you need to look at. And so when, I think people, especially in the spiritual community, have a tendency to um, get caught up in superficial inner work, where what I'm doing the meditating and I'm doing the chanting and I'm wearing the crystals and I'm, you know, doing all these things, but those are all superficial. They're not bad things, but that's not doing the inner work. That's more bells and whistles that are add-ons that you do.
Well,
But
they're added frequency.
that's why I say they're
You have,
add-ons. Yeah,
yeah,
but it's
yeah.
not do it's different from doing the inner work. And so there are a lot of people who attach themselves to those actions and to those things in such a way that it's actually a form of escapism tricking themselves into thinking they're doing inner work when really they're just doing the bells and whistles instead of doing their inner work and then attaching the bells and whistles to doing the inner work.
Right. That's how they get stuck where they're
Yeah.
at, and
What
why
they
they
tell
keep
them, what
going
they tell
around and
themselves
round,
are,
doing the same thing over and over again. So
yeah,
when
but they
they
tell
finally
themselves,
figure
but I'm
out,
evolving. No, you're not. You're not. You're
when
chanting
you
and you're meditating, but you're not evolving.
well, when you finally have to look at what the root cause is, what's causing all of whatever is happening, and then heal it, release it, and accept that you're done. Because
Yeah.
when you don't accept that it's done, it's just like saying let go, let God, and then tomorrow you're worrying about it again. So you didn't let it go. So you
Mm.
didn't accept that it's done. And
Yeah, you have
so,
to be like acceptance means like really truly honest to God being okay with it and not okay like, oh, I like that that happened. Just you get like, yep, that happened. Mm-hmm.
and you just say it is what it is.
Right.
There's
Yep.
nothing I can do about that. It is what it is. And then be able to let it go after that,
Yeah, exactly.
permanently. And that's when you don't go back around to it. When you
Yeah.
finally do
So
that.
with this whole Leo thing, what I found interesting is that, for some it's going to be a fall from grace or because they're in authenticity and their performative aspects of not really publicly being who they really are. And then for others, it's going to be I'm going to say more public recognition in whatever way that is for them. But then those people that are being moved into a position of, or I shall say, potentially being moved into a position of potentially getting more public recognition, whether it's from family, friends, coworkers, or the public. Um, where might you be holding on to fear of being seen authentically? That's the thing that I think a lot of us are really going to be facing right now in terms of a specific issue and challenge is where are you afraid to be seen? And I don't just mean by the public, even in, say, relationships, you might have a real dislike for who you are and you might be afraid that a potential partner will see you in that same light and see the things about you that you don't like about you in the same way that you see them, which is not good. That's a fear of being seen. And so I think this is, kind of what Bonnie's been talking about a lot with that, radical acceptance of really loving yourself, including all of those things that you're afraid other people might see.
Hmm. Love
And
yourself and accept yourself for who you are.
yeah, and really
If it's
being,
something you really want to change, then work on that.
was that it? Okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't want
I
to
didn't. I didn't want to talk over you.
um but I would love for people to say in the comments if in the chat if they feel as though there's something along those lines coming up for them right now. And if not that, can you get a sense of what might be coming up for you with regard to the Leo eclipse and all of this Leo energy and this opportunity to up level using these serious and serious, not S SIRIUS, not SIROUS, energies from our higher dimensional sun. I would love to know what you all feel like is coming for you in terms of what you need to look at, what you need to let go of, what you need to heal, but also what do you want to expand? What do you want? In what ways do you want to be seen? What aspects of you have you been hiding that you need to develop a sense of self acceptance around that are okay to be seen by others?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really interesting. So very synchronistic. So it sounds like there's something coming up for you here. That's wow, that's really, really interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be feeling this, especially if you have powerful Leo placements. But that I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So what are some of the things, like, I think that in order to stay because a lot of people are really sensitive to these higher energies and stuff. So I think that maybe, we say the same things over and over again: drink lots of water and meditate, but really going within and really connecting with your higher self, because that's where it's at. The higher self is your wholeness of who you are, and that's where your acceptance come from. And so you want to really, really, um, where you find that connection is in the quiet and out in nature. And when everybody's, it's all a cliche. Everybody says, get your feet on the ground, go out in nature, go out and connect, with the sun, and be outside. But it's all what you really need to do right now. It
Mhm.
really is. You really, and try to eat clean food. It's all stuff that we have been saying over and over again, but it truly is what can keep you grounded, because you want to stay grounded and connected to your higher self during all of this,
Oh
so
yeah.
that you're
Think
not
of it.
white knuckling it and going
Yes, think of
on
yourself
a
like a
roller
lightning
coaster.
rod. The more
Yeah.
deeply grounded you are, the higher energies you can access. So grounding is imperative. Betsy Love says, I have Leo on Jupiter in Jupiter. Freaking cow. Yeah, you're gonna be
Mm.
feeling this eclipse, I think. But um Joe says, I'm super worried about our water, and the current corruption and trafficking haunts me, and sometimes I cannot focus. I think that's fair, Joe, especially we're certainly seeing an onslaught of an attack on our water. And even though there is a focus on fire right now, in terms astrologically speaking, but also all of the fires that are literally frying our country, some naturally, some not, and some helped with the use of glyphosate in the process of forest clearing, which is a desiccant, so not bright. Um, but water is also, yeah, still very much a concern in terms of making sure that we have access to clean water. I think what I like though, Joe, is that all of this stuff is coming up to be seen, and boy, is there a lot of pushback against it. So I would say it might be helpful for you to consider using your worry and the things that are haunting you as a way to kind of as a springboard to shift towards looking for where you're seeing positive changes and the changes that you want to see in those areas that you find concerning, because there really are a lot of good things going on right now in the pushback against the data centers and people making trafficking and that sort of thing much more public. And then you said something else here that I wanted to touch on. um, this is again that radical self-acceptance that Bonnie was talking about, where it's like everybody has their irritability and their angry sides. And, as long as you can share with a partner, hey, I have this side to me that I don't like. I can be really angry and really irritable, and you might see it sometimes, and I don't like it, and I feel like it's ugly, but I just need you to know that this is a part of who I am, and let them tell you, you know what? I have the same issue. It's fine. You go be angry and irritable sometimes, because that's just sometimes how we got to be.
Mhm.
But when you can approach it from a way of, I know I have these aspects of me, and they're not pretty, but they're a part of who I am. It goes a long way of making it so you're not self-flagellating, and really beating yourself up for just being you, and that way you're less likely to be afraid of other people seeing that side of you. um yeah.
Well, then again, it's all about acceptance of yourself and other people and the way that they feel and things that they're doing.
Hmm.
And the same thing with the water. It is what it is. You can find things that are positive that you can do to help, like you said, and I agree with that. And also do focusing on raising your vibration, helping others raise their vibration. And when you raise your vibration, that's when we help with the awakening of others, so that people are they awake to the knowledge of what they're doing to our earth and what
Hmm.
they're doing to our waters.
Yeah.
So we really have to focus on the main thing is accepting everything that's happening and focusing on your inner self and healing and your connection and your grounding. That's
I was just
amazing.
gonna say, Bonnie, something similar to that, which was gonna be learning to be the best version of you that you can be, so that you can be an example for others.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
perfectly said.
Um, Cosmic Love 7998, and I wish I could zoom this in because I'm like, what does that say? So sorry, my contacts are a little dry. But it says, today, especially feeling such strong energy influxes, feeling headaches in the last days, me too, and drinking water all the time. Grateful to find Bonnie and you live just now. Thank you for finding us. We're
Oh,
glad to have you. Yes, in fact, yesterday I felt like I had my finger in a light socket so much that I had to come home and lay down and take a nap, which I
oh yeah.
never do, but I just felt absolutely sucked dry of energy, and I knew it was energetic. It didn't have anything to do with sleep or food or whatever. And I knew it because when I was letting myself doze off, I was just, you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like
yeah,
I
you
could
can
just
feel that
feel it.
flowing and all that energy going through. Absolutely. And
Yep.
so, there again, that's when they energetically, when your higher self will um, send so much energy that you have to slow down and let the integration, because you're trying to integrate. Your
Yep.
body's trying to integrate all these energies, and they're like, lay down. If you don't, they just tap your forehead. Okay, I'll lay down now because you're trying to
Right, exactly.
exhausted. Just relax. Oh, there's a headache. Oh, you're gonna lay down now.
Hmm. Yep.
I know.
Well, we've got about 20 minutes left, and Bonnie and I wanted to definitely work in some energy healing. And she and I we do the same things, but we work in very different ways. And so she and I are going to be working in tandem. We're going to be working together. And we just kind of feel it out. We don't prescript it. We just kind of go with the flow. And I'm going to be doing my thing on my end. She's going to be doing her thing on her end. And all you need to do is just sit back and relax and be open to receiving if you choose to allow it. Otherwise, if you just want to watch us look super weird, you can knock yourself out and go for the gold and do that, whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter to us. But I think, just based on what we've talked about, I think it would be helpful for you to focus on receiving the energy that is going to be the for your highest and best good with regard to whatever it is you might need to let go of, whatever it is you might need to become consciously aware of, or whatever it is you need to be accepting of about yourself, even if it's that a fear of being seen, or people ask, seeing the things about you that you might not like, or seeing your true self, even if that's a really good thing. Like, I just did my first interview talking about my visitations with the grays, the reptilians, the whatever, and I hadn't been public about it because that's like extra weird. Like, that's weird times 12. I'm the channeling, okay, that's already weird, but all of those other things is like hyper weird, and and I had to face that fear and just suck it up. And so Alan Steinfeld was kind enough to let me be on his podcast and do that. So that was a part of me facing my fear and my fear of being seen, especially in that light. So just everybody kind of have some of these things in the back of your mind as you either watch us look weird or sit back and relax and enjoy it. I like weird.
All right.
Good. We've got a plethora of weird for you. So good. I like
I
weird
like
too.
weird.
Weird's my favorite. Weird's my favorite.
All
All
right.
right. So I'm gonna
So,
back up so I have room to for my arms to do
all
things. All
right. So
right.
I'm just going to lead them through a meditation while you do energy healing. Okay.
Please.
And I'll add some light language to help with the keys and codes to help people, integrate and heal. All right, everyone. Just take a deep breath and just relax. Just let every single thing you've been carrying around melt away. Take another deep breath and relax. Allow yourself to simply just melt into the chair or wherever you're at. Let your auric field expand. Take another deep breath. And we're going to connect to the beautiful sun Bring it all the way down to our crown. Take a deep breath. Bring it all the way down past your shoulders. Just relax. Just take another deep breath. Bring it all the way down past your hips. And as you breathe, just imagine whatever it is you're carrying around that your breath is surrounding it. And when you let go, you're letting go of whatever it is that you're holding on to. Take another deep breath. Breathing it out. Bringing it all the way down past your feet, all the way into your earth chakra. Then we're going to send that beautiful energy all the way down to the heart of Mother Gaia. Just take a deep breath and send it down. And she's going to bless this meditation with some light language. Tu ore emiatra asapakaya, ipikiana asapikikiana, utoriatra ar asapakai, utuko mikiada atra ore apikaniata. Take a deep breath. Breathe that energy all the way up past your knees, feeling your connection to the earth. Take another deep breath. Breathing it up to your heart space. And then I want you to just drop your attention down to your heart space. This is your place of peace. This is your heart garden. This is where you go to create, where you go to connect. And just see yourself walking through this beautiful garden. Everything in here you created because it gives you peace. And as you continue to walk, you see right in the still corner of the heart a beautiful Holy Trinity flame. So you're going to go right to the middle of your heart space. And there's a beautiful pink of love. And there's blue of wisdom. And yellow of the Christed light whirling around. And you're going to have a seat. And when you sit down, your higher self is now coming to join you, sitting down next to you. And if you don't know his or her name, it's the first name that drops into your heart. This beautiful flame is now whirling around you, coming down into the crown, all the way down to the ends of your feet, out through all your light bodies, throughout all of your systems, through all the organs, the blood and the bone. And you just take another deep breath and relax. We're bringing this beautiful violet flame, swirling it around us, clearing and cleansing out all the things in all directions and time that no longer serves you, that you're ready to let go of. You just take a deep breath, bring it all the way down through your systems. To ore miatra asa pakaya, ipikina asa oto oto ore amiata, ipikiana asa kayana atra ara amiata. Take a deep breath and relax. And now coming from the star Sirius, coming down into our crown, beautiful white light through every system, every cell, all the way down to the ends of our toes, connecting to the wholeness of who you truly are. You let that energy expand, and any gifts that you're ready to open in this time frame, we ask for the light language to come through to help with that. Ipikia na asapakaya, ore ariatra ore omi etrikia, ustotokoriatra pikiatra emiatra apukori. Imiatra isipikia, itapikia na anriata. Take a deep breath and just relax. Allow that connection to grow deeper into the heart. We invite all the archangels of light, all the masters of light, to hold holy space for us as we receive this beautiful light of love and kindness and compassion. Just allow it to go through every system, every cell, all the way down into your toes. Let it all expand and just relax. Sho'ori amiatra apakaya ipikiana asapokoriatra. Ipikiana asotokoriatri ipikina atra atra ori amiata. So our higher self is sitting next to us, so we are going to strengthen the connection that we already have the connection, but we want to strengthen it even further with more love, more kindness, more acceptance of others in ourselves. Ti imiatra ara aria pikiana asutokoriata ipikiana atra opukoriata imiatra isipikia. Take a deep breath and relax. Allow yourself to remember who you are inside, who you are, that what you want to show up in this world as, and to be proud of it, to be proud of your heart and your heart light shining bright, to walk the path that you came here to walk and show others the way. Pu'oriatra ara amiata, ikiana atra ashako omi atra ipikiana asamiata. Beautiful, loving energy running, going all the way around us, running through the crown, assisting with our heart's desire, whatever it is that our heart knows that's for our highest best. Our heart will show us the way. Ipikiana atra ara ara amiata, ipikieta ami atra atra. The wisdom being downloaded so that you know exactly what you need to do and where you need to go, so that you understand the purpose of your higher self and becoming one with others. And ti amiatara asapikiame eteribikiana asapokoriata. Surround yourself with love. Tu umiatra apra amiatra atra pikiananiata. Allow the things that are not who you truly are inside fall away. Imi atra apokoriatra pikiamiatra. Isi pikiana. Accept who you see in the mirror. Know that you are love, you are light, and you are eternal energy. Tu oriatra apakaya isipikiana, ipikiana atra atra opukoriata. So now we're going to bring that energy right in the still point of our heart and let it expand. We see it like a flame burning bright, getting brighter and brighter. Just take deep breaths and let it get brighter and brighter as it goes through every chakra, every light body, accepting who you truly are inside, and know within your heart of hearts you are love, you are light, you are compassion in action. Ipikiana atra arebiata, isipikiana atre ipikiana. Take another deep breath as we integrate that energy. Just relax. Let it go through every system, every cell, all the way out through all your light bodies, all the way down to the ends of your toes. And now we're going to bring this beautiful ruby red energy of integration coming down through the crown, all the way down through every system, every cell, throughout all your light bodies, grounding you deeply within the mother. So ori amiatra, ipikiana ami atra. Honor your heart with love. Sapakayana ipikiana. Follow your heart to your destination. Tu ore amiatra isipikiana atra ore amiatra. For it knows the way. Ipikiana apokoriatra ipiana asapikiana. Take a deep breath. And when you're ready, wiggle your
No, we're not
fingers.
done yet. We're not done
Okay,
yet.
go ahead. Sorry.
Nope, that's okay. I wanted everyone to stay in this space because I'm being given something that people might benefit from.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
while we're all still very much in our heart space and we're still focusing on our higher selves and, radical self acceptance and really learning to love ourselves, a part of the way we do that is through visualization. And so I want all of you, while you're in this space, to imagine what it might be like if you truly loved yourself and accepted all of your dark spots, all of your shadows, all of the things that you're afraid other people might see about you. How would you operate? What kind of person would you be? How would that be different? And I want you to imagine, how would you hold your body? How would you feel emotionally? Would you get, are you like, I'm just going to be me. I don't care. I'm not worried about what other people think, you know? What would that feel like? Would that be freeing? Would that feel like a weight lifting off of your shoulders? Would your chest rise because you're kind of showing the world your heart? How would you walk? What would you say differently? How would you operate differently in situations where in the past you've been afraid to say what you think, speak your truth, express yourself, be be angry and cranky in front of others? What would that like? What would that look like? Just imagine that for a moment. In this imagining, know that you're doing two things. You are telling your subconscious mind that that is a real version of you that exists, that you are tapping into, and that you are reprogramming your subconscious mind to operate more from that version of you. But you're also, and you're rehearsing for that future version of you. It's like a sort of like what the athletes do, where they kind of visualize them doing the shot put. And then when they move into that actual doing of it, they've rehearsed it so much in their minds that they're able to succeed. So that's what we're doing now is we're helping you practice being that healed version of you that is no longer afraid to be your true, real, authentic self, shadows and toadstools and all, and really be authentic and not be afraid to be seen. So take a deep breath in and know that you can come back to this space at any time and come back to this visualization and come back to these energies anytime you choose. And know that moving forward, you've now tapped into your higher self. You've tapped into a future healed version of you that is more authentic, more self accepting, and more prepared to really show up in the world authentically and without putting on airs and putting on a performance for others. So now you can start wiggling your fingers and toes and rolling your neck. Come back to the space. And I'm going to. We worked on a lot of stuff while Bonnie was doing her portion of the meditation, and so I wanted to just run through the things that they were working on. And they started. So I channel a seraph angel who calls himself Ian, as well as the ascended master Kuan Yin. And please excuse me, I was just sticking my finger to a light socket, so let me get some water really quickly. Mm. That's how water is one of the ways I ground is drinking water. Um, but the first place they went to was the heart. And that made perfect sense because what I got was, well, Leo represents the heart. And Leo represents strength and courage, but it's not just strength and courage, it's strength and courage to operate from your heart and the strength and courage to be yourself. And I thought, oh, absolutely. It's like Leo the lion, the lion heart, Richard the Lionhearted, of course. It makes me think of Aslan too in Chronicles of Narnia. And and so they were clearing out density on the back of the heart, and so that would be, heartache, heartbreak, and grief, and our childhood wounds that make us feel like we're not allowed to really open our hearts, not just to others, but also to ourselves, where we can really be accepting of, because when you can be radically accepting of yourself, you're more likely to be radically accepting of others. And then they moved to the throat, and I thought that was so perfect because the throat is our self-expression. That is where we speak our truth, that is where we share our feelings, that is where we, to kind of refer back to Joe, that's where we speak our crankiness and our anger. um
Yeah.
you know, but that is where we express ourselves. That is our self-expression, be it for good or for ill. That is our self-expression. And so it's sort of like connecting the heart with our throat chakra, and the strength and the courage to really be willing to express ourselves authentically and honestly. And then they moved to the solar plexus, which again is perfect because that is the seat of our own personal power. It is where there was a lot of density on the back to the point where I even had to stretch my low back. Um, because there are a lot of those watching who have had past experiences of people who have either been controlling over them, or fear of being themselves, where they couldn't express themselves the way they wanted to, whether again it was because someone was being controlling over them, or because there were circumstances that were out of their control, where they could not be themselves or have control over their circumstances. But this real authenticity and letting go of those wounds and issues, wounds from our childhood that that programmed us to be afraid of what other people are going to think about us, and be afraid of how other people are going to receive us and perceive us, and that keep us from loving ourselves and from expressing ourselves authentically. Those were the wounds that were being cleared out. And then they went to the root chakra, and the root chakra is where you hold those traumas. And those traumas were being cleared out and grounded, sort of like flushing the toilet, and flushing your energetic toilet to ground those energies down into the core of Mother Earth. And then Mother Earth energy was brought up into the heart in order to bring that energy of love and support and unconditional love that really should be coming from inside of you.
Mhm.
And then they moved to the sacral chakra, which is where all of our emotions are stored. But what they did was they blew it up like a balloon, because the sacral chakra is also our seat of creativity. And so what I got was that all of this clearing out and activating of the heart, of the throat, of the solar plexus, and flushing out the wounds out the root was preparing our energetic field for filling the sacral chakra with energy in order to be able to create the reality that aligns with, because it's our creative seat, to create the reality that aligns with our healed version, our healed aspect. Once we've, had this radical self-acceptance, it's drawing to us the reality that aligns with that healed version, and because we're now feeling emotions that are aligned with our healed version. And then they moved up to the third eye, and the third eye was really just clearing out the dust bunnies and drawing down energy through the crown and grounding it, because the crown chakra is the other end of the root chakra, in order to really up level that central channel, to hold more light from having let go of all of these, childhood wounds and beliefs that have made us so afraid to show up and be our true authentic selves. So I hope that that was helpful. I hope that that resonated with some of you. I'd love for you to show up in the comments and say what you got from that healing and from the meditation, and what showed up for you, and what your experiences were. I'm seeing some emojis in the chat, so thank you.
I
Hello.
hello. Um, I just love how our higher self works together because um, it just flowed. What you were speaking of is what I was visualizing, and it sort of flowed, and the light language all just kind of came together, and I really love that. I when we do sessions like that together, and so yeah, definitely. We would like to know how you guys feel and how you're doing. Um,
I know
someone's
for me it was
grateful.
sticking a finger in a light socket, but that's how all energy healing is. But I agree. I felt that it was so synchronistic what you and I were picking up on, and I loved how everything tied into, um, the Leo season and the burning away. You used a lot of energy that was sort of burning away the dross of these wounds that are keeping us from connecting to our higher self and operating from our higher self. And that aligning so well with the fire energy of Leo and the energy of Sirius, which is a star, which is, burning plasma. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, it also comes from, it's from trusting yourself, trusting your higher self, trusting
hmm
your heart, and being accepting of whatever it is that letting go of control and just deciding that, you're going to be happy. You're going to it doesn't matter what other people think about you or what their idea of who you are, because you know who you are inside. You know your heart, and you know exactly how you show up in the world. And if someone has another opinion or sees you in a different way, well, it's okay, because that's just who they are, and it's where they're at, and they just don't understand who you are and what you're doing in this time and space, and
I
that's
think
okay.
more importantly, that's not a reflection of you. So
No,
it's their perception of you and how they treat you and how they respond to you is not a reflection of you. And I think that's where a lot of the wounding of being afraid to show up and being afraid to be yourself and being afraid to be seen is because so many people have the wounding of when I expressed my thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, or when I was myself, I was admonished for it, or I was made fun of for it, or it was seen as bad. And you know it's that perception of others in our childhood and that treatment of others in our childhood that creates those wounds that lead to these, being afraid to be seen, being afraid to be your authentic self. And so when you're able to, like you were saying, connect with your higher self and operate from that healed aspect by remembering that how other people treated you even in childhood or now, or how they perceived you in childhood or now, has nothing to do with you. It's not
it's
a
the way
reflection
that
of you.
they're operating through their own wounds,
Yeah,
and the way they see the world. It has nothing to do with you.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
And they're just doing the best they can. When if you have wounds with your parents and
They're wounded
your
children
family
too.
members, yeah, they're just doing the best they can. Yeah, and that again goes all the way back to number one, is accepting everything and being at peace with it,
Yep,
just allowing it to be.
yep.
It is what it is. That's my favorite mantra right now. It is what it is,
Yes, exactly, exactly.
and it'll be okay. That's what I
Yes.
say. Yeah.
Well, we've been on for over an hour, so I
Hmm.
think it's about time for us to close. We so appreciate everyone who showed up this evening and participated in the live chat and enjoyed the energy healing. And yeah, this was lovely and it was so much fun. And we'll do this again sometime. Not sure when. It's whenever our schedules allow for it. But we just really appreciate that you guys came here and supported us. Wait a
We,
minute.
we, we got
What?
something.
Yeah, I'm like, wait. All right. Feeling my head lighter. And I felt the flow of energy more fluid as you both were sharing. Also, a lot of light language coming through. Thank you both. Oh gosh, that's wonderful.
You're
Thank
so
you so
welcome.
much. That's great. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Mhm.
Um, okay, if there's nothing else,
Yeah,
we're going to close.
yeah. Until next time, we'll be back. We
Yes,
we we always have fun doing stuff like this together. So we'll be
absolutely.
back.
All right. Thanks again, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye.